Hey, what's up, everybody? I just saw the. Let me get in the center of frame here. You can see my big fat fucking self. I just saw the Spider-Man. I don't even know what the fucking title. I don't even know what the fucking title is. Something something home. I bet I don't really know. Although I'll have to go see after it. Anyway, I saw the Spider-Man 3 trailer, or the MCU Spider-Man 3, and it looks kind of interesting. I think I really think that in general, Marvel to me has just been lately. I, I I was really excited for Endgame, and then we got that, and then I don't know. It wasn't that I didn't enjoy Endgame because I still did. A lot of people complained about the time travel plot. I thought that was probably the most interesting plot in the whole movie because it was something different. It was something that we really haven't seen, and I liked that they all were strategizing of what they had to do. Where are the stones going to be? What timeline were they? What location were they in that timeline? Um, I really liked all of that stuff because you got to see a lot of the Avengers that, don't really know each other working together. I mean, you got to see, Rocket Raccoon interacting with Black Widow, and they're all, working together as a team. I really liked all that stuff. The problem with the time travel plot, I guess, to a lot of people, if I had to understand it, I don't really understand, but if I had to guess, I guess it would be because it did kind of feel tacked on and thrown together at the last second. I don't think anybody really expected the time travel to be just a throwaway thing. A lot of people are expecting that to be the thing that reverses the snap. I feel like fucking Tommy NC right now. Hey guys, anyway, sorry. Anyway, the what was I fucking saying? I've smoked too much. Uh, oh, okay, yeah. When we all thought that they were gonna use the time stone to reverse the snap, and then they didn't, and they kind of made it a heist. But it did feel. I get what people are saying. It does kind of feel tacked on. But I think that's a lot more interesting than big fucking CGI fight sequence that fucking is boring as fuck. I've said fuck probably 3 million times. And then we had WandaVision, and while the first 5 to 6 episodes were good, although I do think that by the fourth episode, once you find out that I don't know if people want to really know. So once you find out the mystery of what's going on, for me at least, the interest level just goes down drastically, and then you see. I think a lot of people know that Quicksilver is in the movie, or in the show, sorry, or the guy who plays Quicksilver from the Fox movies. The whole reveal with him is so asinine and stupid that it really is just a slap in the face. And a lot of people are saying oh, you shouldn't have gotten your hopes up and had such crazy expectations. Well, the show itself was setting you up for all of these expectations and then subverted your expectations with complete shit. Kind of like that other movie that everybody else complains about. What's it called? The Last Jedi. But that's beside the fucking point. And then we got to I didn't see Falcon and the Winter Soldier or Loki. I've heard some things about it. Some people like it. Some people don't like it. I don't even give a shit about it enough. Like Loki I thought he was a cool villain in the Avengers movies or the first one. But after that, I don't really need to see a fucking show about him. And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I heard, is plagued with SJW politics. So I have no interest in that. I already torture myself enough by watching Batwoman. So, if I need my daily fix of SJW fucking pandering politics, I can just watch that. Anyway, I did watch, however, one half of Black Widow, and it sucked. It was really fucking bad. I really don't like, not sucked in a way that, oh my god, every scene is unwatchable, because the movie is watchable. When I mean sucked, I mean really, like, disappointing, like, just boring. It was a boring movie. That's the most simple way I can put it. The whole movie itself, like, feels it feels weird. It feels slapped together, especially the CGI and the special effects. It all just, like, feels slapped together and rushed. But the opening sequence itself, I don't give a shit about spoiling this movie, because it fucking, like, who gives a fuck? The opening sequence is so off-putting, and not in a good way, because it's off-putting because they play, like, they have this weird montage of, like, disturbing things happening with the Red Room, and it's set to this fucking atrocious cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit, or Teen Spirit, I'm sorry, I'm fucking, get the goddamn marbles out of my fucking mouth. Yeah, they play this horrible cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit from fucking Nirvana. And it doesn't fit the scene at all. Like, I don't understand it. Why is it in that scene? Is it to show that she's like a... I really cannot find an explanation for that. It doesn't fit at all. And the whole sequence itself was cringy feeling. Like, have you ever watched like a movie, and you see a scene in a movie and nothing particularly cringy has happened, but you just feel embarrassed to be watching it? That's how it felt watching that opening montage. And then like, I really can't really go into detail about the movie, because in all honesty, the movie's so fucking boring that I can't even really put the effort in complaining about every single asinine detail. But one of the things that is probably the biggest reason why this movie is so boring, at least, is that hold on one second, sorry. Is that the action sequences are just like, I don't know. The movie fucking sprinkles the entire movie with action sequences. Like, in every scene, it's like, oh, there's a brief fight here, and then there's a brief, like, car explosion or something. Like, the movie is trying to make you forget or make you think it's not boring by stuffing it with action. But in my opinion, the action is probably the most boring part of the entire movie. Because, for one, I thought Black Widow and her sister, I thought they were just supposed to be regular assassins. But apparently they took, like, the fucking super soldier serum, because they don't fucking, they don't get injured at all. I think she has, like, a tiny cut, the sister, on her arm, and I think maybe Black Widow has a cut on her fucking forehead, but that's it. And they survive, like, car explosions, falling from high falls or whatever. I'm so stoned right now, so forgive me again. You know, getting into these, like, fucking huge fight sequences, and they barely show any damage. They're not winded at all, and it's fucking, like, it's really, really boring, because because when all of your main characters are pretty much indestructible, like, the fucking action sequences feel empty and feel pointless, really. Because who gives a fuck? There's no stakes involved in the entire movie, because I never felt like Black Widow or her sister were in any danger. Like, besides, I'm not saying because the movie is predictable, because obviously Black Widow is going to fucking survive. But I never felt at one point that, like, the situation, like, was so dire for them. Because Black Widow literally tanks. She's driving in a car, and it's so jarring, the sequence, because it's, like, well shot. It's well shot of her, like, driving her car, and I was like, wow, this is, like, nice cinematography. And then the cut is so jarring to generic Marvel director number 5, who is generating this on his computer. This exploding arrow hits it, and it hits it dead fucking on, and the car explodes. And for some reason, you see Natasha, and she's like, And she has, I don't think she even has a fucking cut. She doesn't have any bruises at all from surviving a fucking car explosion in a car that she was in. And then, the whole, I can't even begin to really get into how bad that movie is. And I'm not gonna fucking finish it, and I don't need to finish it. So, because, what, I'm gonna finish it and be fucking even more bored? Like, no thank you, I don't need to. So now we have Spider-Man, and I'm not really a big fan of the MCU's version of Spider-Man in general. I really kind of find him to be, I don't like the fact that he's like Tony Stark's sidekick. I don't like that he's like, or like his son. I never liked that. Spider-Man had one father figure, and it was his fucking Uncle Ben. And that's like the whole crux of his becoming of Spider-Man, is because he feels responsible for his uncle's death, and that's like completely skipped over, no mention of it. And now he feels responsible for Tony Stark's death, I guess, or I don't know. Like his connection with Tony Stark, I just didn't really get. I didn't buy it really, because Tony just treats him like shit, and then we're supposed to feel like there's some type of bond between them. But no, not really. Just Tony kind of mistreats him in Civil War and Homecoming. Like, he blackmails Peter. He, after basically insulting his aunt, in front of them, calling her, like, sexy and shit. Like, what a disrespectful asshole. Then fucking doesn't talk to Peter or get into contact with him at all for 3 fucking months. Ignores all of his calls. So does his assistant. Then he chews out Peter, even though he's basically ghosted him for so long. And he doesn't even send himself. He sends a fucking drone there because he can't be bothered. And then when Peter tells him about this situation, his idea is to call the FBI, which only makes things worse. And then he blames it on Peter, like, well, I told you to not blah, 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 blah. If you had just fucking told Peter that if you had just told him that you were calling the FBI, then maybe none of that whole fucking ferry incident would have happened. But no, he doesn't, and Tony Stark looks like an idiot asshole, but then that's supposed to be the moment where, like, oh, Spider-Man, he's just not mature enough, this was all his fault, and, he's got to learn his lesson. He didn't really do anything wrong. He didn't. Tony Stark is the one who's doing something wrong. And then Peter, by the way, like, in the entire MCU Spider-Man series so far, each and every time that Peter has an arc, it's completely backtracked on. Like, he learns that he doesn't need Tony Stark's suit, that he's the hero, not the suit, and he can save the day without it. He then gets his Spider-Man suit back at the end, completely nullifying that whole arc. Not to mention, he gets the Iron Spider suit and a new suit in Far From Home. And then you have Peter getting the Peter basically being like, "Oh, I'm not an Avenger. I don't need to be one. I'm a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." And then immediately, the next movie, he goes off into fucking space and is declared an Avenger. Spider-Man would totally do that. He wouldn't try to stay in New York and protect the fucking city that he lives in from aliens that are going to attack the Earth again. No. He would totally go into space and fight a battle that, like, he wouldn't really be able... Like, what are you gonna do that fucking Iron Man with this nanotech suit that's basically fucking technology plus magic combined, and fucking Doctor Strange, which is like the strongest sorcerer on the planet. What the fuck are you gonna do in that situation? And Peter really doesn't do anything. I don't know. Like, I just thought that whole thing of him going to space, while it was cool, if it was done in a better way, it wouldn't have completely shat on his arc. Like, if he had just happenstance had been on that spaceship for whatever reason, because he was trying to save Tony, and not that he fucking jumps onto the spaceship after being told to stay home, then that would make sense. And if he wasn't declared an Avenger, because I thought he didn't want to be an Avenger, he was offered to be one, and he turned it down. So why the fuck did you take it now? Like, not that much time has passed since fucking Homecoming. And then, oh yeah, and then what's his other arc? Oh yeah, his arc of, I'm not Tony Stark. I'm not Iron Man. I'm Spider-Man. I'm Peter Parker. I'm my own hero, right? You know, and then guess what? He immediately, after saying that, goes to to this weird room in Tony Stark's private jet, using Tony Stark's technology to make a Iron Man-esque Spider-Man suit while AC/DC plays in the background. You know, I don't even have the words to describe how fucking idiotic that is. But I will anyway try my best. It is really stupid to do that because he just said that he's not Iron Man, but he's clearly doing things that are just ripped off of other Iron Man movies. And Iron Man is a much more interesting character than him. And also, I think the whole MCU Spider-Man has made Iron Man really unlikable. I think, especially the fact that he's like apparently got a fucking satellite that watches everybody. Like, that's creepy. I didn't know that Tony Stark was like invading everybody's privacy and can also have drones murder like an entire city if he ever wanted to. Like, who is there to stop that? Like, what if Tony Stark was just like, yeah, I want to destroy Chicago, and I'm going to send 200 drones from my satellite to do it. Like, so fucking stupid. And it makes Tony Stark kind of just really creepy and unlikable. So, you know, while this new Spider-Man movie does look more interesting than Far From Home and Homecoming, it still has that member berries feeling. Like, do you remember Doc Ock? Do you remember the Green Goblin? Do you remember Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield? Oh my God, that will cover up for us being lazy writers. Like, that's how I'm viewing it. Because when Star Wars did that shit, and like, oh, do you remember Lando? He's back, everybody. Lando's back! And we're supposed to like fucking cream our pants because Lando's there, even though it makes no sense and it kind of is stupid. So Lando is apparently doing the exact same thing that he's been doing for 30 fucking years, just like every other character in Star Wars. That's really great. Luke Skywalker has been on a planet for like forever. Han Solo went back to being a fucking smuggler, and Princess Leia went back to being a general. It's really, really, this nostalgia shit is so stupid because it ends up just shitting on, on pre-established characters. Now, I don't think it's going to be the case here for the Spider-Man movie because it's going to be alternate universes, but it's still just like, oh yeah, look, we're pandering to the audience and we're giving them, we're going to give you fucking Doc Ock shoving a dildo up fucking Venom's asshole. I don't know. I'm kind of teetering. I'm just getting tired at this point of complaining. And recently with the new Suicide Squad movie, which I really, really, really liked, especially compared to that piece of shit, I have no real interest in Marvel anymore because it seems that DC, while I don't think is fucking excellent all the time, I think Shazam was really good. Shazam actually I think was great. The Joker I said was great when I first watched it, and then I watched Taxi Driver, and then I was like, oh yeah, Taxi Driver is this movie, or this movie is Taxi Driver, only not as good. And it kind of took that likability for the movie for me away, and so it's like a good 6.5, 7 out of 10 for me. And then I think the Suicide Squad movie was fucking awesome. So compare that to like what Marvel has been. Also, all three of those movies were different and felt like they had their own styles. Each and every one of the Marvel movies just feel like regurgitated fucking set onto autopilot bullshit. Like, I'm so sick of everything Marvel. I'm so sick of all these pre-generated action sequences that all feel really slapped together and just boring and pointless. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts in general on basically the superhero world as it is today. And I guess the new Marvel movie, or I'm sorry, the new Spider-Man movie looks interesting, but I'm not going to get my hopes up, and none of you should too, because Marvel lately has been very, very lackluster, as Tommy NC would say. And hopefully, hopefully it proves me wrong. Hopefully it's better than what I'm expecting it. I'm expecting it to be like 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 maybe at best. But if it's not, if it's a fucking 7.5 and 8, I'll be happy. I'll be really happy. So that pretty much concludes this video. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. And I feel like a hot girl who happens to be watching. I wouldn't mind. Like some pictures. I wouldn't tell anybody. I wouldn't. And I'm totally, I'm totally cool with it. I'm cool. So, just send it to my Twitter that I will put in the link in the description, and just get in my DMs and send me a picture of your vagina, of your boobs. If you have a dick, send it to me too. Send a picture of it. I want to see all of your genitalia. I want to see it all. So just send me a DM of it. Not you, Bullfrog. You're not allowed.